And yeah, so this is the second part. So good day to all of the IGV peeps here. I hope that you are able to be present and focused to understand about why we have all these IGV criteria and how can you make sure that you actually 100% fulfill it by following the instructions that I will be sharing you in this video. Okay, so basically, why IGB also will have our own closing audit criteria. The first thing is also to ensure that we have 100% project implementation to actually implement what the goal that we have set at the very beginning when we plan for the project, whether do we really execute it or not, and also to make sure that we actually review whether we have achieved our SDG impact that we actually set, and also through delivering the quality experience for our volunteer and also the impact for our beneficiaries, whoever actually engage in our project. So that is why IGV audit is very, very important to make sure that you're actually able to achieve the minimums, and also to make sure that you properly evaluate and document all of the important documents and also proof into our system or into our Google Drive, things like that. All right. So basically, in this IGV criteria, we will be checking on a few of the criteria. First thing is on whether do you completed update on your project DMF or not. So you have to 100% make sure that you properly complete it and also update it. And also one thing, what the most important thing in closing audit is also to review all of the features as well, like review all of the project key activities, what even better if, and also whether have you achieved the KPI that you have set. Like for example, you want to impact 80 students in one workshop, do you actually able to achieve it? If no, then what is the improvement that is needed? If yes, then what is the things that are working well? All right. And also we have to update all of the status of MYVs, make sure that they are actually converting them to actually complete their experience with a debrief. And also all of the MYV standards and proof is actually fulfilled in order for us to track whether all of the MYVs are actually receiving the minimum minimum quality of the experience, which is to receive the standards that actually delivered by ISACers as well. And with that, moving on will be on the IYE planning sheet, whether you have conducted the international youth engagement as one of the value proposition of our MYV product towards the customers, which is the youth, and make sure that you actually review this IYE so that we can further improve in next week for our IR management. And also whether have you actually convert more than 85% of from realization to complete. And the next one will be on to make sure that you also 100% make sure that you take all of the checklist of your implementation plan, and also you really track on all of the call to actions that you actually promise to execute in your projects. And last but not least is also on the beneficiaries GVA, whether to have you achieve more than 70% of the GVA set in your project or not, as also the minimum quality of your project. And moving on is MOI plan versus actual fulfillment. Have you achieved more than 70% of your goal that you set in your project? For example, you let's take clean our plate project, right? You want to achieve like 100 kg food waste collected. So do you actually achieve 70% of it or not? Like minimum 70 kg you have actually achieved it. And also the JD and KPI plan for MYB, do they actually achieve or not? Because this is also the experience and the learning that they will gain in this realization as well. And the last one will be on the marketing plan. Have you actually executed instead of just simply plan and put into the marketing master sheet only? Okay, so here comes the overall whole criteria for IGV. This is in a nutshell lah. Okay, so you can also check these criteria in the audit master sheet spreadsheet. So there this also the similar criteria that actually put in the spreadsheet as well. So just to take note, this is applicable for both PBox and NCR project, but one of it for beneficiary GVA, there is only applicable for PBox only. Okay, so moving on, this will be a more detail on how we actually check and how can you actually fulfill the minimum criteria for closing audit. So first thing first, you have to fill in all of the features of the project review report, like for example, how many outreach that you have, and also what were the background of your beneficiaries, and also all of the LC and SU needs to really review each of the key activities, starting from train the trainer, incoming preparation seminar, workshop, team workspace, things like that, right? And then you attach it with what, and even better if, and also let's say if you have any reference links, like for example, screenshot, workshop screenshot with the students, screenshot with the learning partner, make sure that you also attach so that, and also make sure that it is accessible for Isaac as well. So why we have this, right, basically is to serve as a documentation and key learnings for your next few terms to improve their upcoming project management and implementation. All right, and then it will be very simple. And the next one, right, similar criteria as well. There is also one thing about project gallery template, project gallery link. So this template, right, it will serve as a template for you to actually collect your screenshot. So just to give you guys a look, so you can just fill in the project name here, and also like maybe like what is the year realization period, and then you can attach any of the photos. So you can actually put in like a folder link, which is the documentation link of all of the photos, and then you can just put it here. And then if you can describe a little bit on like what have you done in this for example, maybe the screenshot of the workshop, that what you have done in this workshop. Okay, so you can also don't forget to also make sure that you actually put down your name, so that we know that in your upcoming few turns, people know that, oh, it's actually created by the directors of like who of this project. Okay, so coming back a bit, okay, let me just share that it's full screen. So make sure that you also attach the beneficiaries GBA proof and screenshot of beneficiaries involved in the project key activities. And if you can also attach any relevant tool or folder of your project. Okay, so moving on is also on the status of MYVs are updated, and make sure that you actually convert the status from approved to complete. So all of the MYV standard have to actually, status have to update in the summer MYV database, where you actually recorded the applicant, conversion, interview time, right? And also make sure that you also convert most of your realization with above 85% conversion of RE to complete. Okay, so moving on, make sure that you also updated your MYV standards proof, and then also to complete updated it. So you can check out, click on this picture to actually check out the L&Ds on how can you collect the standards and proof. Okay, and make sure that you actually documented in the summer 2022 national folder for standards proof. And then moving on is on the IYE planning sheet. Make sure that this IYE tab is in your DMF, and you actually complete the IYE report. So if you want to get the report template, you can just click in this picture and 100% fill it up. And moving on, it will be the MYV JD and KPI plan versus actual fulfillment. So make sure that you have achieved more than 70%, and also you 100% updated the actual data. So make sure that you also attach references, so that we know that you actually report the right data instead of a fake one. And then we will also check on like whether is the data that you actually reported here is actually relevant based on the screenshots that you have or not. Okay, so moving on will be the beneficiaries GVA and also the project MOI plan versus actual fulfillment. So this is in the measurement of impact tab, the very first tab of your DMF. So make sure that you also documented it and update the real and actual data here. Okay, and then moving on will be on the implementation plan. Make sure that you also check one by one whether have you actually completed all of the implementation plan or not. And moving on, this will be the last one, which is also to make sure that you actually execute your summer marketing plan that you have planned in the National Summer Marketing Tracker, and then at least 70% have actually posted on the channel. All right, so with that is all for IGV criteria. If you have any questions, feel free to actually put in any questions that you have in the IGV audit master sheet.